वेलकम फ्रेंड्स। आज हम क्या करने वाले हैं? वी विल डू दी क्वेश्चन बाय क्वेश्चन एनालिसिस ऑफ द एचआरएम एंड लेबर वेलफेयर, दैट इज कोर 55 एग्जाम ऑफ यूजीसी नेट, right? And this exam was held on 9th of July 2022 and was of merge cycle of December 2021 and June 2022 cycles, right? Okay. So before we start question by question analysis, let us discuss what was the level of the paper. So paper was of moderate level, that was not difficult at all. जिसने भी अच्छे से तैयारी करी होगी उसको पेपर बहुत इजी लगा होगा डेफिनेटली। और देयर वर मेनी क्वेश्चंस वी हैव फाउंड दैट जो पिछले अटेम्प्ट में पूछे जा चुके हैं, रेपिटेशंस भी हैं पेपर में, और हर साल होती हैं, इस साल भी हैं। पेपर बहुत नॉर्मल लेवल का था। इससे पहले के जो एग्जाम रहे हैं कोर 55 के लिए, उनका डिफिकल्टी लेवल वाज हाई एज कंपेयर टू दिस अटेम्प्ट, राइट? एंड ऑफ कोर्स देयर वर क्वेश्चंस ऑन सेक्शंस एज वेल। सो सेक्शंस हम सारे के सारे वी कैन नॉट लर्न, राइट? बट ठीक है, द इम्पोर्टेंट सेक्शंस दैट कैन वी कैन इजिली लर्न देम, राइट? So important sections कौन से होते हैं? With the plain reading of the provisions of the act, we can get to know those sections. Okay. So if we talk about questions on schedules, there were also questions on schedules as well, content of the schedules as well. So that was all expected. Nothing strange was there in the paper. Okay. And if we talk about labor codes, there was no single question on the labor codes, right? So the level was quite moderate. Okay. And guys, if you want to connect with us, you can visit our website humanperitas.in, and there you can see this tab HRM code 55 UGC net. And on this very single page you can have a details that how you can enroll with us and what we are making you available. Okay. And along with that, this is the 4-step study plan, how you can enroll with us. And besides that, you can also assess the quality of our teaching classes. There are demo classes which are provided on the website itself. And also you can check the quality of the sample booklets which are given on this page only. Okay. Now we will do the question wise analysis of the paper. The question is, when employees abroad supply services that the company's own employees previously did in-house, it is known as alternate staffing, outsourcing, offshoring, or temporary staffing. So clearly when we look at the options alternate staffing or temporary staffing, that is not the answer. The confusion may lie between outsourcing or offshoring because the question is referring the word abroad. So employees now are supplying services abroad. So that is why the answer should be offshoring, right? So the correct option is offshoring. In which of the following systems employees are paid on the basis of skills and knowledge one is capable of using rather than for the title of the job currently held? Again, this is a very straightforward question here, because the question is giving reference that the employees are paid on the basis of skills and knowledge, right? So it must be referring to competency based pay. Okay. Next question. Which of the following is not a direct financial payment to workers? So again, a very straightforward question. So which is not a financial payment, direct financial payment? So wage, incentive, commission, bonus, all are direct financial payments except this insurance, right? So the correct answer to this question should be E only. Okay. So because E, insurance, is not a direct financial payment. Okay. Who among the following said, take my physical assets, leave my people, and in 5 years, I will have it all back? So basically, this was a statement given by Alfred Solon. So correct option to this question is Alfred Solon. Next, the book Trade Unionism in the New Society was authored by which of the following? Harold J. Lasky, G.D. H. Cole, Sidney and Beatrice Webb, or S.D. Punekar. So, basically, this book was authored by Harold J. Lasky. Okay. By which convention number of ILO, freedom of association and protection of the right to organize has declared as fundamental rights? So the question is referring to ILO convention number 87 that came in 1948. Do not forget this. So the correct answer to this question is B, convention number 87. Next, every class struggle is a political struggle. Who said this? So most of the time, Karl Marx was the person who talked about class struggle. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Okay. Next, in which session of the Indian Labor Conference the functions of Works Committee was discussed and approved a list of functions which could be assigned to the Works Committee and a list of functions which should not be assigned to the Works Committee? So it was during the 17th session of ILC. The list of functions which could be assigned to Works Committee and which could not be assigned to Works Committee, that was discussed. Okay. And that happened in the year 1959. Okay. So these are the subjects you may refer to in case you want to, that what were the subjects which were discussed to be assigned to the Works Committee and which cannot be assigned to the Works Committee. So list is just in front of you. Okay. Next is, under which section of the Industrial Disputes Amendment and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1956 the central government is authorized to constitute a national tribunals? So basically they are asking you that which section of the industrial dispute refers to the constitution of national tribunals. So if we look at the options given, then section 7 talks about labor codes. Okay. And section 7A talks about tribunals. So here tribunals means industrial tribunals. Section 7B refers to national tribunals. So answer should be C only. And section 10A, for our information, basically it deals with the provisions related to voluntary arbitration. Okay. So it was a 1956 amendment. The correct answer to this question is section 7B. What shall be the maximum number of members of grievance redressal committee? Again, this question refers to Industrial Dispute Act and the chapter is 2B, and in 2010 whole of the chapter 2B got replaced by a fresh chapter 2B. Okay. And earlier also, prior to 2010, there was original substitution of chapter 2B that happened in the year 1982. Do not forget this. But in 2010, whole of the previous chapter 2B got replaced by the fresh chapter 2B. And how many maximum numbers are mentioned there? That is 6 only. Okay. For this grievance redressal committee. So correct option is A. Which of the following is not a form of strike? Sit down, pen down, wildcat, all are the forms of strikes except this picketing. So picketing is not the kind of strike. Here basically the workers, they persuade other workers not to do work. Okay. So it is kind of persuasion, not a proper strike wherein they sit back and they do not do any kind of work. Okay. So picketing is persuading others not to go for doing the work of the employer. Okay. So correct option is C. Okay, the question is, the dash was the first act passed to regulate the industrial relations in India. So, if we are talking about the years of formation of these act, 1961, Factories Act 1948, Bombay Trade Disputes Act that came in 1938, ID Act 1947, and if we talk about the earliest legislation, Factories Act first came in the year 1881. Okay, so but the basically the UGC has given answer to this question as this Apprentice Act. However, in our opinion, this is not correct, right? So if we go by the years of their formation also, then Apprentice Act does not fit into the answer. Okay, so ideally the answer should be Factories Act to this question. Okay, 1881s if we are talking about, right? So this question answer is not given correctly by the UGC. Okay. The periods of work of adult workers in a factory each day shall be so fixed that no period shall exceed dash hours, and that no worker shall work for more than dash hours before he has had an interval for rest of at least half an hour. So in order to save the workers from the over exertion, this kind of provision was made in the Factories Act. Okay, here the fill-ups would be 5 and 5. Okay, at stretch, the worker should not be allowed to work for more than 5 hours. Okay, continuously. So there should be a gap of at least half an hour. So option A is correct to this question. The Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1970 shall not apply to establishments in which one of the following: an intermittent or casual nature, permanent worker, both 1 and 2, or none of the above. So, correct option, straightforward, that is mentioned under the provisions of this act is that it is not applicable to intermittent or casual nature work. So, correct option is A. Next, under Equal Remuneration Act 1976, very simple question. Same work or work of similar nature means dash required are the same. So, what are the things which should be same when performed under similar working conditions by men or women? Three things: skills, efforts, responsibilities. So, it means option D is the correct answer to this questions. All these things should be same when performed under similar working conditions by men or women. That is skills, efforts, and responsibilities. Most simple question: when was the Unorganized Workers Social Security Act enacted? So they are asking you the year of enactment. Although it got applicable in 2009, the year of enactment was 2008, right? So correct option is B to this question. Some labor markets, particularly those in which the sellers of labors are represented by a union, operate under which one of the following? So it's a kind of generic question. You could have identified the answer if you go by the options. So if, because here they are mentioning sellers union, right? Sellers of labor union we are talking about here. So because there's a union, so of course there would be a formal set of rules, and these unions cannot govern fully buyer and seller transactions because they might have relationships which are not totally governed by the rules of the unions of the sellers, right? So look at the options: very formal set of rules that partly govern. So this may be correct. Look at the other option: an informal environment. So in informal environment will not exist because there's a union. So if there's a union, there must be certain rules and regulations which it is subjected to, right? So this cannot be the answer. A very formal set of rules that fully, so unions cannot fully govern buyer or seller transactions. Formal environment with no set, so there is a formal set of environment but with no set of rules, so that is not possible. So only option A is the possible answer to this question. Okay, Isoquant has its particular curvature for which one of the following reasons. So simply, if you look at the options, two of the options can be set aside. That is C and D. If one knows what is an isoquant, so these cannot be the answers at all. Option C and D, capital and technology, labor and technology, because isoquants are related to labor and capital. Okay, so now we must check out that whether in isoquants labor and capitals are imperfect substitutes or perfect substitutes. So they are basically imperfect substitutes. The correct option to this question is option A. And imperfect, why they are imperfect substitute, that is why this is the implication that marginal rate of substitution among the two is diminishing. In order to have more and more labor, the sacrificing rate of capital is getting reduced at every level. Okay, so that is why there's a kind of relationship of imperfect substitute between the labor and capital. Okay, so had it been the case of perfect substitutes, it would be possible for the entrepreneur to produce the given output either by the use of labor only or by the use of capital only. So this cannot be the case. This would give us the shape of linear isoquant instead of this convexity, right? So for normal convex isoquant, labor and capital are imperfect substitutes. Okay. Okay. Given below are the names of Indian trade union associations. Arrange the sequence of their establishments year from earlier to later. So we need to arrange these associations from earlier to later. So HMS, if we talk about, it's formed in 1948. Madras Labor Union, 1918 was the year. INTUC, year is 1947. SEVA, this is popularly known as SEVA, Self-Employed Women's Association, that got formed in 1972. And HMSS got formed in 1937. Okay, so if you know out of this that Madras Labor Union was the first one among all the options given, so option C can be ticked out because B is given in option C only. Based on this knowledge only, you could have got the right answer. Okay, so B is my first one. Then it's HMSS. Okay, and then my C is there, and A, and then last is SEVA. Okay. Next, the acts belonging to the category of protective legislations are, so Factories Act and Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1970, both are protective in nature, while Trade Union Act and Industrial Disputes Act 1947, these are regulatory in nature. So the correct option is A and B only. Okay. Central government may formulate and notify which suitable welfare schemes for workers under Unorganized Social Security Act 2008. Basically, this question got dropped because the options were not mentioned in English. So ultimately, the question was dropped by UGC. Okay. Okay, next question is, under which sections of the Factories Act 1948 as amended, a member of the state government is empowered to constitute a site appraisal committee to examine a factory involving hazardous process. Okay, so basically, if you come across the provisions of the Factories Act regarding constitution of site appraisal committee, which deals with the examination of the factories involving hazardous process, there's a section that is called section 41A. So whole of the section 41A deals with the provisions related to site appraisal committee. Okay, so A is the definite answer to this question. Along with that, the answer key given by UGC net, they also include this as option 41B and C. Although they are not directly related to site appraisal committee, they are basically dealing with the provisions related to obligations of the employers whenever they have factory involving hazardous process. So what are their responsibilities and duties, and what kind of information and what kind of registers and documents should be maintained by these employers. So BNC does not directly deal with the constitution of the site appraisal committee. Only section 41 is dealing with. So however, the benefit of doubt can be given because it comes under the same chapter and same section, right? Section 41. So B and E is stated correct by UGC. Okay, fine. In case of labor, the demand curve illustrates which of the following: at each possible wage rate, maximum quantity of labor; at each possible wage rate, the minimum quantity of labor. So minimum quantity of labor, it's not depicted by the demand curve of labor. At each possible wage rate, quantity of labor an employer would be willing to employ. Okay, for each possible quantity of labor, the maximum wage rate at which the employer would be willing to employ that particular quantity. Or last option which they are giving is the maximum quantity of labor an employer would employ. So demand curve seems like this of labor. So basically when we depict wage rate here and corresponding number of labors demanded, that is depicted here. Okay, so what is the possibility, what the demand curve illustrates, that each possible wage rate, the maximum quantity of the labor an employer would be willing to employ per period of time, and also this, for each possible quantity of labor, the maximum wage rate at which the employer would be willing to employ that particular quantity. So correct option is C, A and D only. Okay, which are not determinants of supply of labor among the following? This question has been repeated many a times. Okay, so if you do not know the answer, check out the options. So number of qualified supplier, numbers of firms. So qualified suppliers should always be determinant of the supply of the labor, but number of firms, because they create the demand for labor, so this cannot be the determinant of the supply of the labor. Okay, so E is possibly, it has to be ruled out. Okay, so among options, if you see, E is given in the option D, and check out for this prices of the other inputs. So this is again not the determinant of the supply of the labor, but the determinant of the demand for labor. So B and E both are not the determinants of supply. Rest every option mentioned is determinant of the supply of the labor. Okay, correct option is option D. Okay, the market demand for labor and the market supply of labor jointly determines which of the following. So when we create labor demand curve and labor supply curve simultaneously on one graph, so what we get? Equilibrium wage rate and, okay, so an equilibrium level of wage rate and equilibrium level of employment. Okay, so the correct option to this question is C only, A and C. Okay, again the very simple question, they are just asking you the years of the various acts. So Factories Act came in 1948, and if you do not know interstate migrant workmen, leave it for the timing. Contract labor 1970, that is C. Child labor came in your this 1986, and interstate is 1979. Okay, clear? So starting with this, Factories Act goes with 1948. So A is connected with 4. So D is ruled out. Now, interstate migrant 1979, B is connected with 3. So again, second is ruled out. Contract labor came in 1970. C is connected with 2. So option A is the correct answer. Okay. Okay. Now, they are basically referring with which motive these acts were introduced. So even if you know the single law with its need or requirement, you could have matched it correctly. So Equal Remuneration Act, we know, or everyone knows, equal pay for both men and women. So look at D3. So if you are going with D3, or both these options are ruled out. Okay. And to pay payment of wages, everyone knows, to ensure regular and timely payment of wages. Okay. So B is going with fourth. So here is the answer. C. Okay. Minimum wages is to remove the suffering of the section of the society, and payment of bonus act strive for developing the sense of belongingness among employees. Okay. Next, arrange the following welfare and health provisions of the Contract Labor Regulation Act 1970 in ascending order of sections. So, ascending order sections, restrooms section is section 17. First aid facility under contract labor is section 19. Canteen, it is given under section 16, and other facilities, that is mentioned under section 18. Okay, so correct option is C, A, D, B. Okay, so option A is correct. Okay, now two statements in the form of assertion and reasoning are given. A monopolist in the labor market is the sole buyer of the factor of production because there is only one demander and there is no distinction between the monopolist demand for labor and market demand for labor. So both these assertion and reasoning are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. So option A is correct. Okay.
Okay, so the question is, which of the following seeks to determine how a corporation should compete in its business? All right, so here the focus is on how. So the options given are the policy, mission, vision, and strategy. So if you have read in your strategic management also about this topic. So what is policy? Basically, policy is generally a very general statement like how and what will be achieved and in what kind of duration. So basically this is the general statement, or we can say that it is the basic technique that would be used to reach to the objectives of the organization. All right, so mission statement, what is mission and vision? Let us discuss vision first. Vision is the what component of the goals. All right, okay, what is the goal? So that is the vision, and the guiding light to reach that what component is a mission. So it is basically general, we can say it generally tells us how to achieve the vision. All right, so the correct option, let me tell you here, is strategy. Why? Because strategy is the more specific plan of action to the how part of, more specific in the plan of action of how, you know, the business would be done or how the goals would be achieved. All right, so the correct option is strategy here. All right, so this was the question. Next one, which flexible plans that set out general guidelines are? All right, the options given are strategic plans, single use plans, directional plans, and long term plans. Similarly, if we analyze each option one by one, first of all, if you know about various kind of plans, it is a very easy question, because first definition you will read in any book about the directional plans, you will find that these are the flexible plans that are set out, that set out the general guidelines. All right, so let me just tell you, number one, at number one is directional plans is the correct answer. All right, so what are the strategic plans? Strategic plans basically set the overall objectives of the organization. All right, Single use plans are for the specific problems or issues. They address specific problems. All right. Now, directional plans. First of all, let us understand long-term plans also. Long-term plans are the plans which are made for a period which is more than 1 year. All right. So these are the long-term plans. Now, what is this directional plans? See, every business knows that there would be certain risks, there would be certain uncertainties in the during the period till the business goes on. So during that situation, rather than setting up specific objectives, what managers should prefer, and what they nowadays also they prefer is they set objectives by keeping in mind what they actually prefer, what they prefer to do, and who actually they are. So according to this, they make the plans flexible enough so that in terms of uncertainties or various kind of risks, they can make suitable changes in the plans. All right. Strategic plans are always there. These are the long-term or the set objectives that are the overall objectives of the firm. Directional plans are like whenever I'm going in the direction of meeting my objectives, what if something uncertain happens or risk, situations happen where you have to take risks. So how I will or the manager will go accordingly, and how he will or she will have to change his or her directions in managing the organization. All right. So these are the directional plans. Next question. Talent management relates to. All right. Number one, holistic, integrated, result-oriented process of planning, recruiting, selecting, developing, managing, and compensating employees. This so far is the best definition of talent management. All right. Now let us move ahead and read other options. Result-oriented process of manpower planning. Not only planning, it is holistic thing. All right. Management is not only related to planning. सबसे पहले you can relate your answer with the question itself कि ये management की बात कर रहा है, तो management involves everything. All right. So next option, holistic integrated process of recruitment, selection, and training. So A and C are close options, but this is incomplete because it also involves managing and compensating, plus their development also is taken care of instead of just recruitment, selection, or training. All right. Last is result-oriented training of employees to sharpen talent to prevent obsolescence of human resources. Yes, it is the part of talent management, but not only related to training. So the option number A covers each and every aspect of talent management. So a very easy question, elimination se bhi ho sakta hai. And if you are very well aware of the definition, ek hi go mein you can mark the answer as correct. Okay. All right. Next up. In which of the following approaches MNCs pay less cash and more benefit compensation package for the expatriates? All right. Acha, there are various approaches being given here: cluster system approach, buffet approach, bargaining approach, and global approach. All right, one by one we'll discuss them. Okay. Culture system, cluster system approach. Cluster system approach basically is related to the segmenting the countries, or we can say the cities. I'm writing countries only here, into clusters based on various factors, such as cost of living. All right. So इस तरीके से उसको segment किया जाता है. तो this is for sure not an correct option. All right. Next is buffet approach. Now, what is this buffet approach? Buffet approach is basically when the employee is given see, the name itself is suggesting what do you get in a buffet. When you go to a dinner and you have that buffet arrangement there, what do you get? You get a lot of options there from which you can pick and choose your favorite dishes and you can have them. All right. So here also the same approach is being followed. The employee is being given the option of choosing the cash component and the other compensation, various plans also. So employee has the option, and most of the times what employee does is he chooses less of the cash option and more of the benefit options. Generally it happens. All right. So according to the question, so far buffet is the Correct option. Next is bargaining approach. Bargaining approach is basically deciding the compensation package through mutual negotiations. All right, here mutual negotiations takes place for deciding, deciding the package. All right. Now, the last one is the global approach. It is basically the uniform pay scale in all the countries. It does not take into consideration such as this cluster approach ki cost of living wahan pe kaisi hai ya kya standardization processes and nothing. Uniform pay scale in all the countries. All right. So the answer is very clear here, which is option number B, which is buffet approach. All right. Next question. All right. Under which of the following styles a manager is likely to remark that nothing significant can ever be done? All right. This is a remark which can be made by a manager. ठीक है? तो क्या लगता है देख के कि manager is a kind of he has a very passive attitude or a negative attitude क्योंकि he is focusing कि nothing significant or nothing major can happen or can ever be done. So he is very pessimist in nature. ठीक है? So options, what the option says, first one is sulking. Sulking is a very close option if you see, क्योंकि sulking का मतलब है basically the person who's aggressive, annoyed or bad tempered. ठीक है? So yeah, it can be a thing. Withdrawn में तो manager is not into, he does not play a part or does not want to be a part of any activity happening in the organization. तो वो ना negative बोलेगा ना positive बोलेगा. ठीक है? Neither negative nor positive. Here he is bad tempered and aggressive, जो कि गाली गलोच करे या बहुत बुरे तरीके से बात करे. ठीक है? Always in a negative mood. Now, what is cynical? Cynical is basically, we can say, it is an attitude of जब भी आपको attitude होता है of distrust, when you do not trust anything easily, when you have that feeling of dissatisfaction. All right, attitude of distrust, dissatisfaction towards the organization or uske goals or towards the ways of doing business of the organization. All right. So next is overindulgent. Obviously overindulgent to pehle go mein you can mark it incorrect kyunki overindulgent hoga to wo bahut zyada active hoga, bahut zyada very energetic hoga in the terms of meeting the goals of the organization or towards his employees. He will be more motivated. So far, if you have to choose between sulking and cynical, the correct option would be cynical, because here it tells us the distrust and dissatisfaction. Okay, so the statement itself is hinting towards that attitude of dissatisfaction rather than being bad temperamented. All right. So cynical is the correct option here. Okay. Next is who gave the operant conditioning theory? ठीक है, बहुत easy question है. If you have read in your OB, generally in your graduate level also, so it was given by B.F. Skinner. This is given as incorrect. The correct name is B.F. Skinner. All right, this is the correct option here. B.F. Skinner stands for Burrow Frederick Skinner. ठीक है? So here B.N. Skinner is a galat name given here. So what is this operant conditioning? Operant conditioning का दूसरा नाम भी है. It is instrumental conditioning. So what is this instrumental conditioning? What does it talk about? It says कि किसी भी behavior को, if we want that behavior to be repeated, again and again. So what is through what we can do get it done? We can get it done by reinforcing the person. All right. Agar if an employee is working very good in your organization and you want to motivate him and you want him to keep going in that direction only, what you do? You would maybe give him a bonus or increase his salary a little bit after a particular time, or you'll give another kind of compensation packages and other various kind of perks and benefits. ठीक है, so this is operant conditioning. Basically when we want a child, जैसे हम कहते हैं कि बेटा if you gain good marks I'll get you a bicycle, all right, or if person has got actually good marks, so by giving him some gift or a chocolate for to a little kid. So this is basically operant conditioning. ठीक है, so operant conditioning में basically reinforcement होती है, which is positive, negative and punishment. So this detail I'm not going to discuss here because we are discussing the question paper itself, all right. So just go through it, and by seeing the questions, the kind of questions being asked, you can actually focus on particular topics as well. For example, यहाँ पे operant conditioning theory का question है. You can also be aware कि classical conditioning किसने दी थी, या और तरीके की social learning theory was given by whom. It was given by Bandura. ठीक है, so all these things you should keep learning and doing and reading. ठीक है, all right, next question. Apart from Factories Act 1948, there exists some specialized safety laws. Which among the following is not a specialized safety law? ठीक है, Indian Boilers Act, it is a safety law. It was for the safety of the people who are working in the steam boiler factories, all right. Indian Electricity Act, it is basically for the people who works in the generation of electricity supply and use of the electric power, but also it has various clauses and various sections which deals with the safety of the people who are working in that electricity generation department. ठीक है, similarly this is Indian Explosives Act, which provides for the safety of the workers who work in the explosive factories or companies. The option C, first of all, let me tell you that this one is the correct option. Why is this a correct option? Because the Plantation Labor Act, it is all three of the acts which we have discussed, A, B and D. These are one way or the other, these provide some safety law. ठीक है, तो ये specialized safety laws हैं. But plantation labor law, its nature is protective. It provides for the welfare of the laborers who work in plantations, who work on the plantation sites, all right. कि उनकी कॉम्पनसेशन कैसी होगी, किस तरीके से उनको और वेलफेयर जो है वो प्रोवाइड किया जा सकता है. ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर डिस्कस्ड हियर. सो व्हिच वन इज नॉट अ स्पेशलाइज्ड सेफ्टी लॉ? इट इज प्लांटेशन लेबर एक्ट, ऑल राइट, 1951. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Which among the following is a correct statement with respect to social insurance? ठीक है, पहले तो understand what is social insurance. Social insurance is the kind of schemes and acts being formed by the government time to time with relation to old age pension, sickness benefits, या sickness insurance हो गई. अच्छा, और basically the health insurances जो कि social insurances है, which are given by the government and other private agencies as well. ठीक है, so let us read the options one by one. Social insurance is fundamentally different from the commercial insurance. Yes, this is true. It is actually fundamentally different from the commercial insurance. Next is social insurance and commercial insurance are similar. Obviously this is incorrect. क्यों? क्योंकि ये statement correct है. अच्छा, एक तो पहले अगर आपको पता है कि there is a difference, a straight difference between social and commercial insurance, you would mark your answer A as correct and move ahead. But still, if you are unsure, read the other options as well. Government alone pays for the social insurance. No, it is not done, because even the employees the other party to that insurance, they also pays for that. ठीक है, so it is incorrect. Employees covered under it are not required to contribute. This is incorrect, because employees obviously national pension scheme का पता है, पहले भी जैसे पेंशन स्कीम होती थी, तो व्हाट इज दैट कि थोड़ा पार्ट जो है वो गवर्नमेंट कंट्रीब्यूट करेगी, थोड़ा वुड बी कट फ्रॉम द एम्प्लॉय सैलरी, एंड देन इट वुड फाइनली लीड टू योर द फाइनल जो भी फंड अकाउंट बनेगा आपका. ठीक है, जो आपको रिटायरमेंट के टाइम पे यू विल गेट. सो all are incorrect and option number A is correct here. All right, next question. who confirmed after the comprehensive study into the supply curve for labor that variations in the proportion of a city's population in the labor force, that is its participation rate, appear to be inversely associated with variations in its average income per equivalent male worker. Acha, देखो, one thing I understand, that exact statement, it may happen that you do not remember because you have to read a lot before your exam, okay? But major, if you know about these people and what things they have talked about, certain things, so you can get an idea about who must have said such kind of statement. For example, let me tell you, the correct option here is Clarence D. Long, okay? So what had he talked about? He has talked about various, and he has studied, like in long term, he has studied various relation of the labor force with in relation to various factors. For example, he read labor force under changing of income and employment employment level, changing income and employment level. Okay, he has also read the labor force and earnings in different cities. All right, labor force and its earnings in different, what is the difference in the labor force ki earnings in different cities, states, nations, what all are the income groups there. Acha, abhi aati hai kaam ki baat. What else he has read about? He has read about the labor force ka relation with respect to gender. Ki females, how many females do work there? What are their earnings with respect to that of the males? What are the earnings of the males in different income groups? Also, what is the role of role of the female labor force over time, and obviously over a period of time the rate of the participation rate of the female labor force has been increased as compared to the previous times. Okay, so he has read about all these things. Acha, abhi you do not know about the correct exact statement, but if you have that idea, okay, what all these people have talked or studied about or researched about, so it would be easier for you to mark the correct answer here. Okay, so Clarence D. Long is the correct option here. Acha, next, when some people are between jobs, like switching from one job to the another, the unemployment caused is known as which one of the following? Very easy question. ये तो 12th standard में हमको सिखा देते हैं, है ना? So the correct option is frictional unemployment. Frictional unemployment basically very short term unemployment जो होती है, when you are planning to switch from your current job to another job, you have resigned from your job, now you are looking for some other opportunities, and within a period of few days or weeks or months or maybe not more than a year, you get another job. So what is that? It is frictional unemployment. All right. Next is, it happens, the frictional unemployment happens in every person's career once in a while, once or twice or maybe many times, specifically if you are working in a private sector, because there you have that liberty to switch over more frequently than you work in the government sector. Obviously, there are some people who get strained in government sector also. So what they choose is, what they decide is to resign from the government sector and get their step ahead in the private sector. So this happens with each of the working people once in a life, once in every lifetime of every employee. Okay. Acha, chalo, next one. Arrange the following steps of job evaluation in ascending order. ठीक है, ascending means पहले कौन सा होगा, बाद में कौन सा होगा, फिर कौन सा होगा. ठीक है, बहुत easy question है. So let us just discuss it. सबसे पहले what will happen? देखो, before anything is taking place, what is the thing? Is there a need of doing that? ठीक है, even in training, the first step is we analyze the need, actually if there is a need of training to the employees. Similar thing happens with the job evaluation. Do we actually need to evaluate the job? Do we actually need to find out the, you know, the job analysis and job determinants under it? So here it is the need. It is number one. All right, next up is, what do? We will choose the job evaluation committee. ठीक है, who will be the what do we say, the committee members who will decide upon the job evaluation factors, and also this is number 2. All right, third one is we will then identify the benchmark jobs. कि कौन सी job is the best, जिसकी value बहुत अच्छी है, worth बहुत अच्छी है, everything is there. So we'll identify those kind of jobs here. Next up is the selecting of the compensable factors. ठीक है, what kind of compensable factors we will add to that job after finding its worth in the organization. ठीक है, last is evaluating the worth of each job, which is fifth. So here BAD. Let us just see this only, and option number D is the correct one. Okay. Next question. Arrange the steps of ranking method of job evaluation in ascending order. ठीक है, पहले कौन सा होगा जब हम rank कर रहे होंगे job evaluation में, like after finding the worth of the job, how do we rank the jobs in that manner. So what happens is सबसे पहले what we do, we obtain the job information. ठीक है, so this becomes number 1 in that case. अच्छा, next is what we'll do, we'll select the jobs and the compensable factors here. All right, इसके बाद what we'll do, then हम ranking देंगे और rank ratings को combine करेंगे. ठीक है, next what we'll do, compare the current pay with what others are paying. ठीक है, कि दूसरी organizations उसको कितना पे कर रही हैं उस particular job को. Finally हम उसको क्या करेंगे, एक नया पे scale assign कर देंगे. ठीक है, so this is the sequence of ascending order of the method of ranking method of job evaluation. So A D E, इतना ही देख लो, A E D. तो ऑप्शन नंबर सीधा सीधा इसमें कौन सा हो गया, सॉरी A D and E. So option number D is the correct. ठीक है, next one. Which of the following relate to quality circles? Now, what are these quality circles? Quality circles are basically small group of, there are small group of workers from different levels in the firm. Okay, let me write it down here. Small group of workers from different levels in the firm who come together to discuss and solve the problems. To discuss and solve specific problems which come up. ठीक है, so अभी relating to the quality circles कौन कौन सा हो सकता है, कहाँ पे हो सकते हैं quality circles? Formal organization में yes they can happen. सेल्फ एम्पावर्ड ग्रुप, ऑब्वियसली इट इज अ ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल, तो सेल्फ एम्पावर्ड होगा जरूर. अच्छा, इनफॉर्मल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ऑल्सो दे कैन वर्क. अच्छा, देन इज द वेंचर टीम. नाउ दिस, ये इसमें नहीं होगा, क्यों? व्हाट इज द वेंचर टीम? वेंचर टीम इज अ कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट. वेंचर टीम इज बेसिकली अ ग्रुप ऑफ 2 or 3 नए people. ठीक है, actually the founders or the key employees who makes a group together, and then they take a new step in introducing a new venture in terms of an idea or a product, and then they make a final fully functioning firm out of that. ठीक है, जो नए entrepreneurs होते हैं in terms of teams, not only the single person but a team of entrepreneurs. तो ये होती है venture team के मिलके एक नया venture हम बनाते हैं. So this is not related to the term quality circles itself. So A, B and C are the correct option, and here option number B is the correct answer here. ठीक है, A, B and C. चलो, next one. What are the main approaches in the area of international compensation with regard to posting MNC's employees in foreign countries? ठीक है, अगर आपको पता है international compensation की approaches, so there are 2 only basic approaches, ठीक है, of international compensation. These are going rate and the balance sheet approach. ठीक है, going rate approach and balance sheet approach. What is this going rate approach? Going rate approach is basically when the employer tries to maintain an equality of compensation with of the host country national with the local nationals. Equality with the local nationals. Okay, so this is the गोइंग रेट के जो रेट चल रहा है उसी रेट से चलते हैं, ठीक है। बैलेंस शीट अप्रोच इट इज एक्चुअली इक्वलाइजिंग, ये ज्यादा प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोच है द बैलेंस शीट अप्रोच, इक्वलाइजिंग द परचेजिंग पावर of employees at comparable position levels, the employees who are living abroad, ठीक है। So what they do is they try to equalize the purchasing power. Okay, for example, somebody who's working at a supervisor level, somebody who's working at a manager level, तो same levels की purchasing power को देखते हैं अलग अलग countries में। For example, what is purchasing power? कि आपके for example in India, a bucket of goods, a basket of necessary goods, how much does it cost to a person in India, and the same basket how much would that cost in the another country, ठीक है। So this is purchasing power. So getting a parity between the purchasing power or equalizing, then we try to decide upon the compensation of that employee. So this is balance sheet approach. So these are the two basic approaches only, ठीक है। A and D is the correct option, which is option number D here, ठीक है। Okay, अगला, given below are the two statements. All right, number one is in a matrix organization, specialists from different functional departments work on projects that are led by a project manager. अच्छा, ठीक है। One unique aspect of matrix organization is that it creates a unity of command, managers coordinate and resolve conflict. ये तो इधर ही गलत हो गया, unity of command होता ही नहीं है, because matrix organization itself means what? That when a particular team reports to multiple leaders, ठीक है। So here what happens is option number statement 1 is true, this is false. So 1 is incorrect and 2 is, sorry, 1 is correct and 2 is incorrect. It is option number C here. All right, so this is the correct answer. Next up, अच्छा चलो, match the following. There are tests given, and what do they test? ठीक है, the subject area is given. So first one is the intelligence test. What would the intelligence test check? Preferred occupation क्या है? Memory, vocabulary, job knowledge, or the emotional stability. So what it would do is memory and vocabulary ये check करेगा, ठीक है। Next is the personality test. Personality test would do emotional stability and agreeableness कितना है, ठीक है। Interest test ये तो बहुत easy है। Preferred occupation क्या है, ठीक है। What is the preferred occupation? Achievement test, how much knowledge of the job do you have? So here the correct option is option number B. A is matched with 2, B is matched with 4, yes. C is matched with 1 and D is matched with 3. All right. So this is the option number B is the correct option. Moving ahead, again, I match the following question. Types of corporations are given and their appropriate meanings are given. A simple, a very easy question. ठीक है, एक ही मिनट में हो जाना चाहिए while you are sitting in the examination hall. All right. First one, international corporation. What are these? All right. चलो पढ़ के one by one, let us just start discussing the direct answers, ठीक है। So it is, international corporation is domestic firm which is using existing capabilities to expand in the foreign market, ठीक है। जब expansion की बात आती है, especially in the foreign market, so these are the international corporations. All right, multinational corporations, MNCs are basically जिनकी subsidiaries they are operating in the multiple countries. All right, so here it goes with 1. So B goes with 1. देखते जाओ ऑप्शन में, A goes with 4, B goes with 1, A goes with 4, B goes with 1. ठीक है, क्या और ऑप्शंस हैं ऐसे? नहीं है तो सीधा सीधा मार्क कर दो. If you want to save time, if you want to be doubly sure, then go ahead. Transnational corporations. What are the transnational corporations? Transnational corporations are basically these actually specializes in the facilities and the complex coordination mechanisms which are there in the global integration. ठीक है, कि transnational means which is operating among various nations, not in one to one country. ऐसा नहीं है, 1 to 2 various जहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं, तो that is a transnational corporation. So it goes with 2. All right, last one, global corporation. वेरी इजी. सबसे पहले अगर ग्लोबल का भी लगा देते और किसी का आइडिया नहीं होता तो भी आंसर मार्क हो जाएगा. ठीक है. सो डीज ऑप्शन इज global corporation is viewing the world as a single marked and operations controlled centrally and from the corporate office. All right. So accordingly, the correct option is what? It is B here. All right. Chalo. Next up, again, the match the following question. One thing is given as the sub process of bargaining. What are the processes of bargaining? And then their meanings are given. ठीक है. Distributive bargaining. What is this distributive bargaining? ये तो सीधा सीधा सामने ही लिखा हुआ है. It involves those aspects of negotiation in which one side's gain is the other side's loss. ठीक है. थोड़ा distribution हो जाता है. It is win-loss situation. All right. Next is integrative bargaining. What is this integrative bargaining? Integrative bargaining is actually the issues and processes in which a solution provides gain to both the labor and management, leading to joint gain or win-win bargaining. ठीक है. दोनों integrative way में they are cooperating and managing this stuff. ठीक है. Intra-organizational bargaining, within the organizational bargaining it is. ठीक है. So what is this intra-organizational bargaining? It is related to when there are different goals and preferences of either side, union या फिर management के within the organization. And last but not the least, चाहे discuss करो या मत करो, directly आपको मिल जाएगा, which is attitudinal structuring. The negotiations often involve a lot of uncertainty. ठीक है. So what is given here is that uncertainty arises from the difficulties the parties face in anticipating कि अनसर्टेनिटी बहुत होती है कि कब स्ट्राइक हो जाएगी, कब सिचुएशन और कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो जाएगी, तो उसको इंटरप्रेट करना. ठीक है. इंटरप्रेटिंग ईच अदर्स इंटेंशंस को देखना, यानी कि उनका एटीट्यूड्स को स्कैन करना, और टू रीड अबाउट द एटीट्यूड्स इज एटीट्यूडनल स्ट्रक्चरिंग. सो हियर अगेन ऑप्शन नंबर बी इज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट अप, match the list 1 with list 2. अच्छा चलो, again match the following. अभी similar kind of आ गया. Negotiation result and appropriate meaning क्या है? Win loss situation, lose win, ये तो बहुत easy है. With मतलब एक बार पढ़ते ही you can mark the answers. Win loss situation, it is the negotiating parties think that winning is everything or winning is the only thing. Is this? Yes, it is this. Okay. Acha, loss win is one party achieves the most and the other party loses or gains very little. This is lose win. ठीक है. lose जहाँ पे दोनों हार रहे हैं. ठीक है. both the parties lose and do not get what they want and reflect an attitude of take it or leave it. ठीक है. win easy again. Both the parties get what they want. So option number A is correct here. A goes with 3, B goes with 4, C goes with 2, and D goes with 1. ठीक है. चलो next up. Okay, there are two statements given, assertion and reason. Assertion is a statement, उसके बाद reason होता है, and you have to tell कि if the reason being stated is actually supporting the assertion being stated. ठीक है. चलो. Henry Fayol was of the opinion that organization should be based on group ethic rather than individual. Is that so? No, because if you see what were the principles of Henry Fayol, standardization was one of the principles जो उसने दिए थे, है ना, to become specialized. So specific tasks should be given to the individual so that they become specialized in their own area first of all, and then when they work in group after that, it would actually will help in realizing their true potential. So this was the thing. So assertion तो बिल्कुल incorrect है. ठीक है. तो ग्रुप एथिक पे उसने फोकस ना नहीं किया था जितना पहले इंडिविजुअल थिंग पे फोकस किया. नेक्स्ट रीजन क्या दिया है? रीजन, इंडिविजुअल पोटेंशियल रिमेन्स ओनली पोटेंशियल अंटिल रियलाइज्ड थ्रू ग्रुप एसोसिएशन. यस, दिस इज व्हाट आई वाज जस्ट टेलिंग यू हियर. सो दिस इज करेक्ट. सो assertion is wrong, reason is correct. So assertion is false, but so here option number D is the correct answer. ठीक है. चलो next question. Arrange the following in the right sequence of Maslow's hierarchy of needs starting from the lowest order need. चलो बहुत easy है. इसमें सबसे पहले need कौन सी होगी? जो हमारी physical needs होती है, which is hunger. Then comes the need of security, which is job security. Then comes the need of आपके जो रिलेशनल नीड्स होती हैं, विच इज बिलोंगिंगनेस नीड होती है, देन यू वांट टू अचीव समथिंग इन योर लाइफ, एंड फाइनली द सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन वाला गोल जो होता है, विच इज नंबर 5. ठीक है, सो 1, ऑल राइट, सो DAE B and C. This is option number C. Sorry, this is option number C. This is the correct option here. All right. Next up, 2 statements again are given. Scanlon plan, पता होगा आपको. It is designed to encourage cooperation, involvement and sharing of benefits. ठीक है. What is Scanlon plan? किससे related है Scanlon plan? It is related to the, it is one of the incentive programs. ठीक है. And what does it do? It is a kind of program which actually involves gain sharing. ठीक है, it involves gain sharing. And what it combines leadership with the total workforce education, and the employees participation with a reward system. It involves everything with the reward system. ठीक है, so this is the first statement actually is true. Next one is the Scanlon plan divides payroll expenses by total sales. ठीक है, हाँ, this is also true. So here both the statements are correct. That is option number A. चलो, next question. Given below are 2 statements, assertion, reason again. ठीक है, so here one is given, assertion is given as government intervention in industrial relations system became inevitable when industrial peace started being threatened. Obviously, ठीक है, जब इंडस्ट्रियल पीस थ्रेटन्ड हुआ तो गवर्नमेंट की इंटरवेंशन बिकेम नेसेसरी, और बहुत सारी फिर गवर्नमेंट ने रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस निकाले, जैसे कि कंपनीज एक्ट, फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट, बहुत सारी चीजें, लेबर वेलफेयर एक्ट. सो इस तरीके से. अच्छा, रीजन गिवन इज बिकॉज, व्हाई दिस हैपेंड? बिकॉज industrial peace and harmony are essential for industrial development in the country. Very true. So here assertion and reason both are correct, and reason actually correctly explains that the statement of the assertion. ठीक है, so option number A is the correct option here. All right.
So question is, who argued that money spent on improving labor was one of the best investment that business executive could make? तो ये जो statement था, ये जो thinking थी, ये थी रॉबर्ट ओवेन की, who was an industrialist in Britain. ठीक है. Next is, according to Herzberg, which of the following is the satisfier? तो इसमें 4 ऑप्शंस आपको दिए हैं. The correct answer is recognition. ठीक है, हर्ट्सबर्ग ने अपनी 2 फैक्टर थ्योरी में 2 चीजों की बात करी, एक थी मोटिवेटर और एक थी हाइजीन फैक्टर. ठीक है, तो मोटिवेटर वो वाले सारे फैक्टर्स थे जो इनहेरेंट टू वर्क थे, राइट, जैसे रिकॉग्निशन है, अचीवमेंट है. एंड हाइजीन फैक्टर वो वाली चीजें थी जो वर्क से एसोसिएटेड थी. फॉर एग्जांपल, आपकी कंपनी पॉलिसीज क्या है, आपकी जॉब सिक्योरिटी क्या है, वर्किंग कंडीशंस क्या है. ठीक है, तो करेक्ट आंसर इज रिकॉग्निशन. नेक्स्ट इज ऑक्टापेस रिफर्स टू. तो ऑक्टापेस रिफर्स टू HRD कल्चर. ठीक है, तो ऑक्टापेस क्या है? ओपननेस है, कन्फ्रंटेशन है, ट्रस्ट है, ऑटोनॉमी है, प्रो एक्शन है, ऑथेंटिसिटी है, कोलैबोरेशन है और एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन है. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट इज विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग कैटेगरीज विल नॉट कम अंडर द HR आउटसोर्सिंग. तो आउटसोर्सिंग क्या है? आउटसोर्सिंग माने कि आपने किसी और एजेंसी या किसी और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को हायर किया है फॉर योर सर्विसेज. ठीक है, फॉर एनी काइंड ऑफ योर वर्क. तो प्रोफेशनल एम्प्लॉयर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, यस. बिजनेस प्रोसेस आउटसोर्सिंग है, यस. एप्लीकेशन सर्विस प्रोवाइडर, जैसे हम सॉफ्टवेयर एज अ सर्विस भी कहते हैं, ये भी है. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एम्प्लॉयज नहीं है, क्योंकि इसमें हमने एम्प्लॉयज को हायर किया है और हमारे अंडर ही वो काम कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, तो इट्स नॉट द करेक्ट आंसर. एंड ऑल दीज 3 थिंग्स आर द क्लाइंट फॉर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट. ठीक है, विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग रिप्रेजेंट्स द मॉरल वैल्यूज दैट डेवलप ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ रोल मॉडल्स एंड अदर सिग्निफिकेंट पर्संस. तो ये जो 3-4 ऑप्शंस दिए हैं, ये किससे रिलेटेड हैं? ये आपके फ्रूडियन की जो साइको एनालिटिक थ्योरी है उससे रिलेटेड है. अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट, आईडी वो चीजें हैं जो इंस्टिंक्टिव होती हैं और बाय बर्थ आपके संग एसोसिएटेड होती हैं, जैसे फूड की जैसे फियर है, हंगर है, और इस टाइप की जो बेसिक चीजें हैं. सुपर ईगो क्या होता है? सुपर ईगो इज मॉरल वैल्यूज दैट वी डेवलप बिकॉज ऑफ द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ सोसाइटी एंड द पेरेंट्स, राइट. इन दोनों के बीच को जो मीडिएट करता है, जो रियलिटी से डील करने के लिए हमें सक्षम बनाता है, दैट इज ईगो. सो करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन डी. Next is which one of the following relates to person's self-perceived competence and self-image? तो इसका क्या करेक्ट आंसर है? इसका है इसका आंसर है सेल्फ एस्टीम. ठीक है, तो हाउ डू वी परसीव आवरसेल्फ एंड हाउ डू वी वैल्यू आवरसेल्फ इज व्हाट? सेल्फ एस्टीम. सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन क्या है कि हमारा जो पर्पस है, जो मैस्लोज ने अपनी नीड हायरार्की में दिया था कि हमारा जो पर्पस है एज एन ह्यूमन बीइंग व्हाट वी नीड टू डू. सेल्फ एफिकेसी क्या है? सेल्फ एफिकेसी एक बिलीव है कि आप किसी भी, आपकी एबिलिटी क्या है किसी भी टास्क को कंप्लीट करने की. ठीक है, एंड सेल्फ मोटिवेशन इज सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी. ठीक है, which one of the following is not part of 3-tier structure of joint consultative machinery and compulsory arbitration in government department? तो ये क्वेश्चन रैंडम नहीं है, ये 1966 में एक स्कीम थी सरकार की, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की, जिसके अंतर्गत ये जॉइंट कंसल्टेटिव मशीनरी एंड कंपल्सरी आर्बिट्रेशन बना. तो इसमें 3 अलग अलग लेवल्स थे. एक था नेशनल लेवल पे जिसे नेशनल काउंसिल कहते हैं, हेडेड बाय कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी. अगला था डिपार्टमेंटल लेवल एंड थर्ड इज ऑफिस/रीजनल लेवल. सो देयर इज नो यूनिट लेवल एंड दैट इज व्हाई करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन ए. How many parts are there in the schedule of the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act? तो स्पेसिफिकली ये 2016 के अमेंडमेंट की बात नहीं कर रहा है, एक्ट की बात नहीं कर रहा है, ये 86 की बात कर रहा है. इसमें 2 शेड्यूल थे विच इज ऑप्शन बी. एक था आपका ऑक्यूपेशन से रिलेटेड, दूसरा था आपका प्रोसेसेस से रिलेटेड, जहां पर चाइल्ड इज प्रोहिबिटेड टू वर्क अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 3. How gratuity is calculated for non-seasonal establishment for peace rated employees? तो peace rated employees के लिए कैसे निकाली जाती है gratuity? Average of last 3 months into 15 into number of complete year of service upon 26. तो 15 by 26 यानी मंथली ले लिया संडे को हटा के, उसके बाद 3 मंथ का एवरेज ले लिया, जैसे किसी की 12 के है, किसी की 11 के है, किसी की 13 के है, तो इस हिसाब से इसका एवरेज ले लिया और नंबर ऑफ कंप्लीटेड ईयर ऑफ सर्विसेज. तो करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन डी. The pension scheme of employees is financed by diverting dash of monthly contribution from employees provident fund. तो जो भी पीएफ फंड बनता है उसमें पेंशन स्कीम के अंतर्गत किसका परसेंटेज डाइवर्ट होता है पेंशन के लिए, है ना? तो इसका करेक्ट आंसर है 8.33%. तो 10% या 12% होता है, तो अगर हम 12% को लें तो इसमें एम्प्लॉय का जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो 12% सीधे पीएफ में जाता है और एम्प्लॉयर का जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो डिवाइड हो जाता है. 8.33% वो पेंशन में जाता है और 3.67% वो उसमें जाता है, पीएफ में जाता है. ये ईडीएलआई अगर वो स्कीम अवेलेबल है तो उसके लिए. ठीक है. Mr. X was terminated by his employer of the factory to which payment of wages act is applicable. When is the wages earned by Mr. X till the date of termination need to be paid by the employer? तो according to section 5 of Payment of Wages Act 1936, तो आपको before the expiry of second working day from the termination आपको पे करना होगा. Which is not a principle of labor welfare. तो principle of labor welfare placating नहीं है क्योंकि ये एक theory of labor welfare है. ठीक है, ये principle नहीं है. इसके according क्या है कि laborers are becoming more conscious towards their right and privileges and therefore a peace measurement should be taken by the management from time to time. Next is which of the following are human resource accounting model? ठीक है, तो कौन से मॉडल है? ये एरिक फ्लमहोल्ट्ज मॉडल है, ठीक है, लेव एंड श्वास मॉडल है एंड ओगान्स मॉडल है. तो इसका करेक्ट आंसर हो गया ए सी डी. नेक्स्ट इज विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग्स आर ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज अकाउंटिंग मॉडल. सेम ही क्वेश्चन है पर इसके ऑप्शंस आप देखोगे, स्टेटमेंट्स आप देखोगे तो अलग है. तो क्या है? मॉर्स मॉडल है, लाइकर्ट मॉडल है और ओगान्स मॉडल है. तो करेक्ट आंसर इज ए बी सी विच इज ऑप्शन सी. नेक्स्ट इज which of the following are the ways of determining representative union for the purpose of collective bargaining in India? तो बेसिकली रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ ट्रेड यूनियन की बात करता है ये, तो ये कोड ऑफ डिसिप्लिन में प्रोवाइड किया गया है. देयर इज नो सेपरेट स्टैच्यूटरी प्रोविजंस फॉर दिस. तो उसमें 3 चीजें होती हैं, सीक्रेट बैलेट है, चेक ऑफ सिस्टम है और मेंबर वेरिफिकेशन है. एंड हेंस करेक्ट आंसर इज बी सी एंड डी, यानी आपका हो गया ऑप्शन सी. Which of the following basic factors were outlined by Selig Perlman in his theory of labor movement? तो एक इन्होंने बुक लिखी थी theory of labor movement, उसमें 3 अलग अलग चीजों की बात करी थी, not 3 अलग चीजों की बात करी थी. The three statements are associated with that, which is resistance power of capitalism, the degree of dominance over the labor movement, and the degree of maturity of a trade union mentality. ठीक है. Next is which of the तो correct answer इसका हो गया आपका ABC, which is option A. Next is which of the following are non-statutory bodies for prevention and settlement of industrial dispute? अब ये non-statutory bodies क्या है? Non-statutory bodies वो है जो एक्ट में स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन नहीं है. जो भी एक्ट में मेंशन है वो स्टैच्यूटरी बॉडी है. तो एक्ट में कौन सी मेंशन है? ये मेंशन है, कोर्ट ऑफ इंक्वायरी मेंशन है। तो नॉन स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडीज कौन सी हो गई? ये ए, बी एंड डी। तो ए बी डी इज द करेक्ट आंसर विच इज ऑप्शन बी। हम आगे बढ़ते हैं। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग आर द ऑटोनोमस ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ऑफ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ लेबर एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट। तो ऑटोनोमस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन क्या होता है? जो अपने फैसले खुद ले सकता है, एज सिंपल एज दैट। तो ESIC इज एन ऑटोनोमस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। सेंट्रल बोर्ड फॉर वर्कर्स एजुकेशन, यस। DGMS इज नॉट एन ऑटोनोमस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इट इज अ सबऑर्डिनेट ऑफिस। इसका मतलब जो भी डायरेक्शंस हैं वो मिनिस्ट्री से लेने पड़ेंगे। VV गिरी नेशनल लेबर इंस्टीट्यूट, अगेन ऑटोनोमस बॉडी। तो ABD answer, which is option C. Licenses of contractor under the Interstate Migrant Workmen's Act 1979 may be revoked under which of the following situation? So obtained by misrepresentation, yes. Without reasonable cause, failed to comply with the conditions subject to which license has been granted. Contravened any of the provisions of this act, yes. After receiving an application, जैसा कोई provision नहीं है, तो correct answer is A, B and C, which is option A. Which of the following are the method of fixing and revising minimum wages under the Minimum Wages Act 1948? So there are two methods, which are committee method and notification method, and hence the correct answer is option D, which is A and B only. Which of the following situation as per the PF Act allow for full withdrawal of provident fund? तो full withdrawal की बात कर रहा है, ये डेथ में हो सकता है, सुपरएन्युएशन में हो सकता है, रिट्रेंचमेंट में हो सकता है, बट व्हेन यू आर कंस्ट्रक्टिंग अ हाउस एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम आप फुल विड्रॉल नहीं कर सकते, आप केवल पार्शियल विड्रॉल करोगे। तो ABC इज द करेक्ट आंसर, व्हिच इज ऑप्शन बी। नेक्स्ट इज वेज पीरियड अंडर द पेमेंट ऑफ वेजेस कैन बी। ये काफी अच्छा क्वेश्चन है। सेक्शन 4 में साफ लिखा है कि वेज पीरियड कुछ भी हो सकता है, बट इट कैन नॉट एक्सीड 30 डेज। हेंस ए भी हो सकता है, बी भी हो सकता है, सी भी हो सकता है। हेंस करेक्ट आंसर इज ABC, व्हिच इज ऑप्शन डी। Next is arrange in ascending order the steps of proceeding for fixing or revising minimum wages under the Minimum Wages Act. तो ये काफी लॉजिकल भी आप कर सकते हो। तो पहला तो होगा ये शेड्यूल एम्प्लॉयमेंट का, सेकंड होगा अपॉइंटिंग कमिटी एंड सब कमिटी, थर्ड होगा होल्डिंग इंक्वायरी एंड मेकिंग रिकमेंडेशन, फोर्थ होगा एंड फाइनल विच इज फिक्सिंग एंड रिवाइजिंग द मिनिमम वेजेस एज द केस में बी। हेंस BACD is the correct answer, which is provided in the option B. Next is assertion and reasons. Assertion कह रहा है कि model industrialization has created a new class of industrial proletariat which with rural background and with very little social material resources is in great need of systemized health through social security agency. तो social security agency नीड है कि ये इनको सिस्टमाइज कर सकता है। सेकंड दे रहा है कि सोशल सिक्योरिटी क्या है, इज अ मेजर एस्पेक्ट ऑफ पब्लिक पॉलिसी टुडे एंड एक्सटेंट ऑफ इट्स प्रिवलेंस इज अ मेजर ऑफ प्रोग्रेस मेड बाय द कंट्री टुवर्ड्स द आइडिया ऑफ वेलफेयर स्टेट। तो जैसा कि आप देख रहे हो बोथ स्टेटमेंट आर करेक्ट, बट क्या रीजन असर्शन का करेक्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन है? तो ये नहीं है। रीजन जो एक्सप्लेनेशन होना चाहिए था वो ये होना चाहिए था कि ऐसा मॉडर्न इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन ने क्यों क्रिएट कर दिया है ना। तो हेंस करेक्ट आंसर इज बोथ A and R true and R is the A are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Next is under the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act, family in relation to an occupier, individual, wife, husband और बाकी चीजें। Statement 2 is duty and obligation of contractors under the Interstate Migrant Act is given in the Chapter 5 of the Act. तो ये तो सही है, पर यह सही नहीं है क्योंकि इसमें wages और welfare से related provisions हैं। Hence, statement 1 is correct and 2 is false and option C is the correct answer. Next is assertion reason. assertion में कह रहा है outside leadership is not appreciable for trade unions. ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही बात है। रीजन में कह रहा है कि trade unions when controlled by outside leadership under political influence and leadership functions with hidden intention of serving the political interests on its parties. Again ये काफी अच्छा correct explanation है, hence option A is the correct answer, which is both A and R correct and R is the correct explanation of A. ये पैराग्राफ है, इसके अंदर 5 क्वेश्चन है। तो ये एक तरीके से 1850 से लेके 1947 के बीच का कुछ कुछ जो सिग्निफिकेंट इवेंट्स हैं उसकी बात करता है। जैसे वर्कमैन ब्रीच कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट की बात करता है, फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट 1881 की बात करता है, उसके बाद जो ट्रेड यूनियन मूवमेंट है उसकी बात करता है, आईलो की बात करता है, देन फाइनली कुछ कुछ एक्ट है उनका क्या वो रहा, इम्पैक्ट रहा, उसकी बात करता है, रॉयल कमीशन ऑफ लेबर की बात करता है, और फाइनली इंडस्ट्रियल एम्प्लॉयमेंट स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर एक्ट या फिर जो भी मिनिमम वेज एक्ट, आईडी एक्ट जो बने। ठीक है, तो हम क्वेश्चन देखते हैं। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट अ करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट। तो करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट कौन सा नहीं है? ऑप्शन बी, फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट अप्लाइड टू विथ 150, क्योंकि यहां केवल 50 था, 100 से 50 हुआ। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट एसोसिएटेड विद लेबर वेलफेयर इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशन। तो कॉम्पिटिशन एक्ट इससे रिलेटेड नहीं है, ये हेल्दी कॉम्पिटिशन को स्टैब्लिश करने के लिए कॉम्पिटिशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया को स्टैब्लिश करता है। ठीक है, which who played an important role in the agitation against British for Indian independence. तो ए ऑल इंडिया ट्रेड यूनियन कांग्रेस जो आई गेस 1920 में बनी है, ये करेक्ट आंसर है इस क्वेश्चन का. नेक्स्ट इज रॉयल लेबर कमीशन वाज सेट अप बाय द ब्रिटिश इन इंडिया, तो ऑप्शन बी करेक्ट आंसर, in the year of 1929. Next is assertion reason. ILO began influence the policies in relation to workers. बिल्कुल सही बात है. Several factors mixed the industrial and political environment, including the rise of a strong nationalist movement, the rapid growth of trade union, which led to the formation of AITUC in 1920, and the emergence of communist influence in the labor movement. ये भी सही बात है, पर दोनों में कोई explanation नहीं है. They are not related. So hence A are correct, but R is not the correct explanation of A.
All right. So in this question, they have talked about the steps of test validation process. They want you to make the sequence correct. All right. So if you look at the statements given in the question, choose the test, relate the test scores, cross-validate, administer, analyze, there can be only one correct sequence. What is that sequence? First of all, you will analyze the job. What is the job? Why are you doing that particular test? You will determine all the predictors, all the variables of the test, right? Then you will choose a particular test. Then once the test is chosen, you will administer it, you will relate the scores, and then you'll cross-validate and revalidate. This is the correct sequence. So in the options E, A, D, B, C, that's the correct sequence, right? Moving on to the next question. Here they have talked about balanced scorecard approach of control. Now, what is balanced scorecard approach? It talks about 4 different managerial skills, managerial measures, which need to be taken care of by a company, right? So what usually happens in a balanced scorecard, you'll come up with your objectives for the organization, for the department, and you'll provide those scorecards to individual managers, and then they are responsible for taking care of those objectives, right? The four measures are financial, customer, internal, business or processes, and of course, people and innovations, right? So the correct option needs to have all 4, which is given in option D, right? Moving on to the next question. Here they talk about mentoring. They are talking about the relationship between a mentor and the mentee. Now, what usually happens? There is a transfer of knowledge to mentee. This is absolutely correct. Now, if you want to sustain an organizational culture, you need to have a good transmission of information. So, second statement is also correct. It can only be formally organized. No, there can be informal relationships between mentor and mentee. They need to learn from each other, right? They need to learn from each other. So this statement is wrong. And then interactive process where only mentor gives the topic for learning. No, even the mentor needs to learn a few things from the mentee. Then only there will be an interactive process between the two. So the correct answer is A and B only. All right. So here they are talking about stress scoping techniques. Exercise, yes. Relaxation, yes. Behavioral self-control, yes. Cognitive therapy, yes. Irritability is not the answer, right? You cannot get irritated when you have stress. So the correct answer is A, B, C, and E. All right. Moving on to the next question. Here they are talking about the different theories as well as their propounder, leadership theories, right? So if you look at managerial grid theory was given by Robert Blake. X and Y theory was given by McGregor. Path and goal theory was given by Martin Evans. and contingency theory was given by Fred E. Fielders. Now, the correct option A. All right. Moving on. Now they are talking about the negotiation results as well as what is the meaning of it. If you just read these statements, they are very straightforward in nature. Win and lose. Win and lose. Negotiating parties think that winning is everything or winning is the only thing. If one party is winning, another is losing, then it is a win-lose situation. Lose-win. When they're talking about lose-win, it's like one party achieves the most and other party loses or gain very little. Then you have lose-lose, in which nobody wins anything. Nobody wins anything. And win-win situation is when both the parties are getting what they want. So the correct answer is this. Moving on. Now here they talk about origin of welfare, labor welfare in India. The two statements, if you read them very directly, what they are talking about is origin of labor welfare activity in India goes back to 1837, when following the abolition of slavery in 1833, British colonies started importing Indian laborers. Okay. Indian welfare activities were hardly controlled by legislation during pre-independence era. Now, both of these statements are wrong. Both of these statements are wrong because there have been labor welfare activities prior to 1837 and we have a lot of different statements here. Okay, so both these statements are wrong and the answer is this. Now, moving on to another theory of wages and propounder, match the following question. Match the following question. Now, what they're talking about, John Davidson gave what? He gave the bargaining theory, right? Clark and Wicksteed gave the marginal productivity theory. Ricardo gave the subsistence theory and Adam Smith gave the wage fund theory. So, option C is correct. Moving on to the next question. Now, in this question, they are talking about on-demand workers. In modern times, there is an increase in the number of on-demand workers. These workers can choose when to work or what to work on and how much they want to work. Major worries, which is given in the reason, is major worries is not just about the benefits they receive, but lack of agency, a future in which computers rather than human determine about what to do, when, and for how much, right? So this is absolutely correct. This reason for the assertion is absolutely correct. Now, when you're moving towards the organizational change, you need to find the correct sequence for this question. Now, what is the correct sequence? First one is the initiation, right? Then diagnosis. Then you'll deliberate what all to be changed, right? Then you'll come up with a proposal and then you'll implement it. So option C gives you the correct sequence. Moving on, now they are talking about the establishment date for various trade unions in India. All India Trade Union Congress came in 1920. The Textile Labor Association of Ahmedabad came in 1918. Union Trade Union Congress came in 1949. Hindustan Mazdoor Sevak Sangh came in 1937 and Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh came in 1955. So the correct from earliest to later is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, which is given in option A. Moving on to the next question. Here, there are two statements. Assertion says labor administration in the country has failed to deliver the desired result for protection of labor. Okay. It is observed that despite various legislative measures, its ineffective implementation has not given the expected results. Both of these statements are correct. Secondly, the reason is absolutely correct why labor administration in India has failed. So, option A. Moving on to the next question. Here, it's talking about the basic definition of labor welfare. What does labor welfare mean? Much necessarily be elastic, bearing a somewhat different interpretation in one counting from another, according to different social customs, degree of industrialization, educational development of the worker. Statement 2 talks about limits cannot be rigidly laid down for the scope of labor welfare in all industries at all time. If you look at the first statement, the very definition talks about elasticity. So yes, there cannot be rigid limits. So both these statements are correct. The answer is 1. Now we move on to a passage based question. The first question was, we can conclude that, and the 4 options were given, Gen Z employees are careless, millennials are careful about baby bloomers and all these things. So the correct was given in the first paragraph itself. The first paragraph itself, the answer is baby boomers are more open to discuss their stress issues with others. If you look at this particular line, it talks about how they are more open. The second question is asking which of the statement is not correct. Not correct. So if you guys look at this particular statement from here till the end of the passage, you'll find the answer to this question, which is baby boomers were 2.5 more likely to take time now. The next question talks about a more suitable statement about this passage. Now, if you look at the statements, if you look at the last paragraph, you will understand what they are asking. They are asking how they are coping. If you're talking about coping mechanism, there is a wide gap. So this statement is correct. In this question, they have asked about wide gap, what needs and are offering 3/4, 74%. If you guys go back to your last passage, you'll understand that the second statement is wrong. The second statement is wrong. So statements option C. And now they're talking about flexibility of work-life balance and workforce priorities change. Both of these statements are wrong. Both these statements are incorrect. And the answer for this particular question, the explanation you'll find in this question itself, especially in these lines.